Okay, well, without further delay, the head coach for LSU baseball, coming off a 4-0 weekend, the new number 1 team in the country, Coach Jay Johnson. Welcome back to the show, Coach. Congrats on the weekend.
Thank you. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing beautiful. It's great to talk about 4-0. Outside of the fact that D1 baseball website crashed, which is a credit to the LSU fans because you couldn't get on there for about four innings, but we got there and we got to watch the Tigers go 4-0. Talk a little about this weekend, Coach. It was going to be the biggest challenge so far to date. It was a good barometer on how good the team or how much progress that you have made throughout the course of the year. You play a top 20 team in Dallas Baptist. You play Kansas State, who's coming off a really good weekend the weekend before beating Arkansas. And then you had Nebraska, who's got a lot of good arms. And y'all won all 4 games in a bunch of different ways. That's got to make you feel good moving forward. Y'all played an extremely good defense. Y'all hit the crap out of the ball, scored runs a bunch of different ways. That's got to make you feel good going forward into the SEC play.
Way to censor yourself.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
I was being nice.
Yeah, I think you just laid it out. I don't even know why I'm here.
Coach, I was locked in all weekend. Y'all look good. It was fun. It was fun.
No, I love it. No, good week for our team. A lot of things happened that I think we'll be able to draw from that week as we move forward. I thought we played a very good game on Wednesday night at Globe Life Field. That was a cool experience for the players against a really good team. Got a really good win. I thought we really dominated that game and didn't feel like we were ever in danger of losing it at 7-3 against, a really good team with really good hitters. And, they hit a couple home runs, but other than that, we completely stymied their offense, played good offense that night for the most part. Friday, Kansas State, we got the lead, gave up the lead, got the lead, gave up the lead.
Yep.
Awesome defense in the bottom of the 9th inning with the relay from Josh Pearson to Milam to Luis Hernandez to cut down the game-winning run. And then a great play by Dickinson with 2 outs and a man in scoring position right there to save the game also. And then really good at bats there in the, I guess was the top of the 10th. And then Kason Evans, off to a great start this year on the mound. Did a great job finishing that game off. And then Saturday, Nebraska got behind and just really kept playing. I think our team showed a great deal of maturity on Saturday. And really, by the end of the game, it wasn't really even in doubt, which is awesome, when you start out down 5-0. And then, yesterday, we'd been tapped out pretty good in terms of 4 games in 5 days, whatever it was. I was very interested to see how our team would play and respond and thought we played a good game. I mean, we were really 1 at bat away from that potentially being a 10-run rule type game. And, that didn't happen. And then, got some good contributions from some guys on the mound late. I mean, to the bullpen to go four innings with no runs there once the game got tight was awesome. And so good win and excited to get back home I think we have 10 in a row at home. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that too. Obviously, we didn't make the trip to Dallas or to Frisco, but we were there in spirit. We were watching on TV. Coach, before we get into all the other things that we had mentioned, I want to point out this, and I don't think people gave y'all enough credit. I guess didn't really know what to expect on the defensive side of the baseball coming forward. We knew it was going to be a more athletic team. We knew it was going to be, the defensive side was going to be really good. But I don't think people realize how good it was actually going to be. And you mentioned the Kansas State game. The defense directly won you a game, right? The relay, which I also don't think people realize on how difficult of a play that was. Pearson, the ball kind of jumped back on him, and he caught it seamlessly, turned around, threw it to Milam. Milam made it. People were worried about Milam's arm. Don't think you got to worry about it. Threw the guy out from left field at home.
That's chemistry.com.
And you got to flip up the middle with the middle infield. How impressive has the defense been, and is this something that you saw in the fall and you were just wait and see what these guys can do? Because I think everybody on the team made some sort of good play. I think all 3 outfielders made a diving play. I think the middle infielders made, they don't have web gyms anymore, but web gym after web gym. The catchers threw a couple guys out. It just felt like everybody was playing elite defense. Is that something that you've seen for a while now?
I would say it's hard to say. I was very optimistic about it because we have far more athleticism on the team than we've had, in my 4 years here. So usually that manifests itself in better defense when you have good athletes. I think, when you look around the diamond, you essentially have 3 center fielders in the outfield. So, working from back to front. I mean, Josh Pearson made the play, and he's like the 4th or 5th fastest guy out there, but he can run and move. So we're really in great shape in the outfield. I mean, Chris Stanfield has already made like 4 or 5 like highlight plays in center. Derek Curiel is a center fielder. So like you feel good about that. Then moving to the infield, you're looking at, Stephen Milam is taking great pride in being a shortstop. And there's not anybody that's played better shortstop to this point in the season. Like I don't even need to watch anybody else to know that. Danny, has played the left side mostly last year, getting him back over to second base, and doing a great job there. He's really showed his range early in the season and his quickness and athleticism. Michael Braswell did play shortstop for us last year, is now playing third base. Jones, because he's such a good hitter, I think his defense gets overlooked at first base. And then, Luis and Kate have done a really good job behind the plate. So, you never want to assume anything. We want to be a hard team to play by not giving anybody anything. And we're not really giving up a whole lot by not handling the ball so far.
Coach, good to see you again. I got a chance to chat with you a little bit, not too much. You got busier things to do, which I expect. Coach, man, I just want to ask, going to play in a venue like that early on in the season is something, obviously, over the past few years that's been something more prevalent in college baseball. And for all intents and purposes, it gives you a chance to kind of measure your ball club in a different spot than just playing at home where you're super comfortable at. What you were able to get out of these guys in a neutral site, but there's other fans from other teams that are there and to watch this situation for guys that are kind of new, gelling together early this season. What did you see in them, and how impressed were you with what you were able to get in 2 ball games where they kind of had to come back and get their backs off the wall?
Yeah, first off, shout out to the environment. Like Saturday night, that was electric. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like it was 11,000. I don't even know if that stadium seats 11,000, to be honest with you. That was really cool. We gained a lot out of just that environment, I think. And I think in terms of how we won, like I said, the Kansas State game, there's a ton of value in that because I do think we were playing pretty well in the game. We got a good start from Cade, got some big hits, executed offensively to take the lead twice, and then we gave it up. We gave them some free bases, and that's obviously a good offensive team by how they've played. I think they've won 6 out of their last 7 with the only loss coming in that game. And, we really had to pitch out of some trouble late. Connor Binge did it. Kason Evans did it. And that was a big deal. And then the clutch at bats late in the game, to start a rally, sustain a rally, and then cash in to get that 3-run lead. And then Kason obviously finishing it off. I mean, that was great. We just literally just kept playing against a really good team in a close game. And, the team knows it's a real important, if you're going to be a championship caliber team, you have to develop, being comfortable in close games in a 1-run game. And I think that really showed that. And then the next day, we kind of got ambushed. Like it was 5-0 before you knew it. And I thought Anthony Ianson did a great job of just getting the game back under control. And I think it was in the 3rd when we came to bat in the top of the 3rd or the 4th. We just had probably the first one of the year where we, whole team up, meet in the dugout, and just talked about continuing to play. And it wasn't even necessarily about coming back in that game, but developing a competitive character. Like no matter what is going on, stay on the task at hand. Yeah. And then 3 runs were on the board like that. And then we get the crazy play with Dickinson and Milam, and the flip, spin, and bare hand and throw, and then immediately come back out and put another run on a board, and then the 6-run inning, I think, in the 7th. And then, Schmidt comes in, and he's 97 and snapping off like nasty curveballs, and everybody's going nuts, and they're calling Baton Rouge. Like, I just think there was a bunch of great things that we could take from this weekend, and we're going to need to, because we're only going to continue to get tested as we go forward.
Coach, you mentioned the 5-0 game. You mentioned Ianson. Ianson, my bad. I'm sorry. You mentioned Ianson.
With a lot of pronunciations on this team so far.
You mentioned Ianson. Y'all get down 5-0. Doug Thompson was in our office. This isn't our office. Doug Thompson was in our studio last week, and he talked about the inevitable too. Right? In the first inning, you have to get past the inevitable 2 runs because everybody's trying to feel it out. Pitcher's trying to kind of feel what he's got. And once you get past those 2 runs, or you limit them to 2 runs, you kind of settle in. And it feels like he did that. You mentioned it a little bit, but how hard is that, and how impressive is it to go out there for the first 3 innings? You don't really feel like you have your A stuff, and then you flip the switch, and then you have your A+ stuff for the next 3 innings. You're able to get through 6.
Yeah, I'm proud of him for that. He's a really good pitcher, but the makeup part of Anthony is a big reason why he was a big priority for us to get him. And he got socked in the mouth a little bit there. And, at that point in time, there was a few things going on. It's my instinct is usually if this isn't working, let's go to somebody else that maybe they're a little less prepared for. It's a different look, try to just keep the game close. But, by playing Wednesday night, by using 5 pitchers on Friday in a tight game, they're geared up and building his pitch count and all those types of things. But, we had a game Sunday, and then we have a game tomorrow and a game Wednesday. I just didn't feel great about pulling the trigger and going to somebody else just yet. And he did a great job. And, once we got 3 on the board and then he went out and got a 0, the momentum completely was back in our dugout. And then we got 1, and then they made an unbelievable play to throw it. What's that?
Then you had Anson came back out and struck out the side.
Right, exactly. And at that point, it just the ball was rolling downhill in a good way for us. And so really good performance. He actually got the magic moment that game for hanging in there. That's literally what it was. It was hanging in there, and he got better as the game went along.
Coach, we mentioned him before. You've talked about him a good bit, and then now it's kind of cool seeing this thing kind of manifest into actual reality and seeing it go. But I personally think through 3 weeks of the season, we've kind of seen him 3 different times, I believe, maybe a 4th, and almost seemingly he's been doing different things every time he goes out there. How impressive, and his ability to kind of go out there and compete on the mound, and that being William Schmidt so far in the year.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he's very competitive. He threw 60 pitches Monday night, first start. I thought he was great.
Yep.
And then, that's a high-level pitcher to get here. So I'm always thinking in terms of, hey, we got to do this right, keep him healthy. And I was talking to him, probably Thursday or Friday, and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking Sunday would be the next time that we'll use you. And he kind of looked at me and was like, I could tell he was disappointed a little bit. I'm ready to roll. And then I think it was Friday. He's like, Coach, I've never felt better than I feel right now. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You want to get into one of these first couple games. Friday's off the table. And then, I was just kind of looking around, and you guys have been there. You're down, and then you work so hard to get back, and you take the lead, and this is a game that's going to end up being a good RPI win for us. Nebraska's one of the favorites in the Big Ten. And then we went back to Zach Cowan, who's doing a terrific job for us. And he did a good job, 2 innings, rather low drama. And then it was kind of well, if we're going to get him up, we got to put him in the game. And, he's going to pitch in a ton of big situations and big games this year and for the next 3 years here. There was just no way I was going to bypass that opportunity. And he came out humming. It was really, really impressive. And I've been very impressed with him. I trust him, and the ability is special, but the competitiveness, the character, and the makeup far exceeds what you normally see out of a freshman, right-handed pitcher. And, I would say the same thing about Kason Evans. I'd say the same thing about Maverick Rizzi and about Cooper Williams, but really excited about William and always looking forward to the next time we get him back out there.
Coach, and we've mentioned this a little bit, but you can never simulate those types of pressure situations. You can never simulate
a blacked out crowd in
making
Frisco.
a play in the bottom of the 9th inning to save a run. You can't simulate, hey, you got bases loaded, 1 out. How are you going to get out of the inning? You can't simulate any of that kind of stuff. And so, how important was it for y'all to go into an atmosphere like this, where you're playing competition, you're playing guys that can touch 97, 98, and you're facing those guys on the on the opposite side, and not just your own teammates? How important is it for those guys to see that and overcome some of the adversity that y'all are able to get? And is that a part of the reason why you schedule these types of tournaments?
Yeah, I think a couple things with that. First off, we had a great week offensively, and it started on Monday night against Nichols at home, and then really got the ball rolling. I think we have an advantage a little bit, and we do have so much high-end pitching that, I mean, our guys have seen a lot of good pitching going into the season, and honestly, almost the first week or two, it was almost like a harder adjustment to dial it down from that. But we hadn't seen it for a couple weeks. And so I was very curious, Wednesday night going in against DBU, what we would look like. And I mean, they made the adjustment like before the game started. And that's something that I talk about a lot, regardless of what the adjustment is. Like, let's not wait, till the 3rd inning or one time through the lineup. And I think it carried all weekend. We did see some really good pitching. Frost, the starter for Kansas State, had a great outing against Arkansas the week before, when Kansas State beat them. Ty Horn from Nebraska, I mean, that's what we're going to see in the SEC. I mean, that was a live fastball up to 95, 96 with 3 pitches. He's going to be a real good one. They had tremendous arms out of the bullpen, and I think we had 17 hits, if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday night. And then yesterday, you're back to a soft lefty and just really took good at bat. So I thought it was a really good weekend for the offense. And I don't know, that's just a great place to hit. I've been there 3 times, twice at Arizona and this time, and I really love playing in that ballpark. And I'm sure you guys both played in it at some point. It's a good place to hit and a good place to play.
Was it windy one of the games? It felt like Jared had a home run and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it was odd because it felt normal the first day, and then it kind of regulated as it was as it got later, and then on Saturday it was just kind of normal. And I thought it was Saturday night. He smashed one, and I still don't know how it was not a home run to left center. And then yesterday, I mean, that thing was like jet stream, right-handed hitters stream. Like when I got their lineup and I saw there was 6 left-handed hitters in the lineup, I was like, thank God. You know what I mean? Because we showed up and we were kind of in this waiting area above left field, and you could feel the wind just blowing in your face. And it was good. Steven, hit a homer, hit 109 off the bat. Yep. And then Ethan Fry got a good swing and drove one out of there. So really good production by all those guys. And I thought we took good at bats against good pitching all weekend, and that's certainly a good sign to see.
Coach, you can watch it all fall, and obviously guys know when they have a feel of it, then obviously you get to the spring and it turns to be a little bit different. And then really, being a former hitter yourself, it doesn't take much, I guess, as a offensive group to see your arms perform the way that yours have so far this year to understand that, yep, this is real. How much has that helped this offense kind of settle in and understand that they don't have to go and put up 10 a game to hopefully keep themselves in it? They can just go be themselves, and they should be where they need to be game in and game out with the arms that you have.
Yeah, if you pitch and you defend, the game becomes a lot easier, and it does take some of that pressure. And I mean, I've had teams where it hasn't been like that. It's like, guys, we better get to 9 or this is going to be hold on to your hat. And that is no fun. That is no fun at all. Like, you can still win that way, but I don't think you can be a championship caliber team that way. And certainly not in the SEC when you see so many quality arms that you're contending with. So I did really like the complimentary baseball, that was played. I don't think we pitched our best, and I think there's some easy solutions to some of that Coach Yeski was in here all day today digging in on and getting some things lined up for guys to be a little bit better and maybe slotting them, a little bit differently, which was great. So I'm confident we'll continue to pitch better. We already know what that talent looks like. I think the defense, again, it makes it hard for anybody to get started if you're not giving them free passes. Like the one thing, like Nebraska ambushed us a little bit, but they earned all 5 of those runs.
Right.
Like we didn't give them to them. So at least you're making them earn it. And then it does allow you to settle in offensively. And again, I thought the approach in all phases, was outstanding. There was just only a few spots that we didn't execute, but I thought the situational hitting was good. I thought the consecutive quality of bats was good. We drove the ball, of like 35 doubles or something like that, and that number seemed to jump up in a hurry. So that's always a sign of good team on offense if you're walking a lot and you're hitting doubles.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on that, on the offensive question, because it felt like it was kind of happening. You talked about it on Monday, then you saw it against Dallas Baptist, and you kind of felt like they were getting a little bit more comfortable. Like hitting's a rhythm type of part of baseball, right? The more reps you get, the better you get. And it seems like you have a lot of guys that you have confidence in putting in there, right? You have 5 outfielders that you can it feels like you can rotate based off of matchups. You mentioned Fry hit the homer. Josh Pearson, who started all 3 games on the weekend, was the MVP of the weekend. You had Jake Brown have some big moments. Complimentary baseball, a sacrifice fly.
Stanfield batting 9.
Stanfield hitting 9. And you have Braswell in there. You have all these other guys. Is that going to be a matchup thing moving forward, or is it going to be, hey, we're just going to keep giving guys opportunities until we see a hot hand, or is there some strategy behind why a guy plays and why a guy doesn't play?
I think this man doesn't have strategy.
Oh, yeah. I look at everything, and, just to keep it super simple, just so this is really clear, we're setting it up to win the game that we have right in front of us.
Right.
There's no other thought other than that. On this particular team, that doesn't mean you're only playing 9 guys, though.
Right.
I mean, that would be, undermining our talent. And there's certain spots where guys can be really, really successful. Like last night, we pinch hit Tanner Reeves in the bottom of the 8th inning because the guy's an on-base machine. And he didn't get on base, but hit a rocket to left field.
Right.
Jake Brown, who should, probably play most of the time and probably will play most of the time. We didn't play him yesterday because of, left-hander was in there, and Josh, obviously is playing great, at this point in time. Fry destroys lefties. So it allowed us to have 2 really good pinch hit bats late in the game that created more pressure on them. And, the Kansas State game was that way. The DBU game, our first 3 pinch hitters all got base hits when they came into pinch hit. So it's a little bit of everything. And it's really nice to have the luxury to be able to do that. And I'm really proud of how the players are handling that. I mean, it is incredible maturity that you're seeing out of like an Ethan Fry, and Ashton Larson, and Josh Pearson. Like every one of those guys is ready whenever their day is. And they've all had their day, and they'll all have their day again.
Coach, you talk about luxury. The pitching staff has a lot of luxuries. And another guy that there's been some conversations about, because there was a video that surfaced, is Devin Sheeran. And, he got hurt over the summer, and he was shown video throwing a bullpen or throwing balls, throwing in the outfield of Alex Box. What is his, track back? Is he going to be ready? Is he not going to be ready? Is that just part of his – is he close? Is he not close? I guess that's a question that I'm asking.
Well, there's 2 elements to it. There's obviously it's a knee injury, so we have to make sure that's stable. And there's straight line movement, there's lateral movement, and then all the while of making sure his knee is stable to do all those things. What you don't want to do is rush back the arm and then end up with an arm injury. Right. So he's getting well along in his throwing program. He's going to get off the mound here very soon, and then there's a little bit of an arm buildup, but we're also still evaluating the stability of the knee thing. So it's really 2 issues. I'm not trying to be evasive at all. I mean, I'm hopeful.
Right.
I don't have. As soon as you look at that video, you go like, you'd want to get that guy back in pitching.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's a reason we brought him. But we got to do it right. Fortunately, we got enough depth where we can do it right.
Coach, a lot of questions in the chat, and everybody's wondering, why didn't you get wet You saw Chief jump in the water. The whole team jumps in the water, and then we don't have Jay Johnson. Then people are saying that you can walk on water because that's what happens whenever you go 5-0 for the week.
Yeah. So the river thing, like that's like Chiefs thing. Like we won that thing in 21. It was actually 4 games then. We beat at Arizona. We beat Oklahoma twice, Dallas Baptist, and Missouri. And then Chief like stripped down to like his sliding pants and jumped into the river then. And that was like during COVID. And then we were at batting practice on Thursday at the field there. And one of the players said something about that. Like, I guess they'd seen it or something. And then he said, only if we go 3-0. And I was like, all right, you put it on the record. And so, yeah, I mean, he had to pay up on that. And then, yeah, I just not my deal. Like this body wasn't built to be a swimmer. So.
Hey, self-awareness is the greatest gift you can have. You know, you got to understand your limitations and your capabilities. I get that.
HWA.
Coach, I'm going to let you go here, but before you go, I have to mention this guy because it feels like he has been has given y'all stability at the top of the lineup, and there's been a lot of hype about him coming in. I've been extremely impressed about him. It's a different type of freshman than Dylan Cruz was, right? He is it's a different type of hitter. Derek Curiel, I did it again. Curiel. He has been as consistent as you can ask for any player, much less a freshman at the top of the lineup. Can you talk a little bit about him and how important he's been to the top of the lineup and how advanced his approach is?
Yeah, for sure. I think you just hit on it where you said advanced in approach. Like, I mean, I'll give you an example. Like, he came in here today and sat down for 30 minutes, and it was just the highest level of baseball conversation you could possibly have. You know, and this is off a guy that was on base like 20 out of 18 times this weekend. You know, he's a ball player. He's highly skilled. The self-awareness thing you just kind of mentioned, I don't know that I've had a young player step in with as much self-awareness of what they need to do and who they are. Like, I'll give you an example of this. And this is when I already knew he was a great player, but when he said this to me, this was like in August, like, he's like, I'm really excited for this year. This is the first time in a long time I've had to actually compete to play. Like, he didn't come in here expecting to be handed anything. And, I mean, he's an absolute difference maker. I think his ability to make quick adjustments, that's in line with, like, a lot of the great players that I've had. And, he's obviously a big part of our team. And, it was really cool last night, I think, in the press conference. Well, not think, it was him and Josh Pearson with me, and listen to Josh talk about Derek, but then to listen to Derek talk about Josh. Like, that's something that makes you smile as a coach. Like, the self-awareness is high, and, really good engine, for our offense right now with him at the top.
Well, Coach, we're enjoying watching y'all play. We're enjoying watching him play. We appreciate you always coming on the show.
It's got a game tomorrow.
It's going to be a little windy.
Oh, if anybody knows the weather.
Windy and a little rainy early, but it's going to be good for the game time, I think, right? Are you playing middle of the day, or is it a night game, or are y'all moving it up? What are y'all doing? Night game.
Night games.
Gucci.
6:30.
It's going to be Gucci.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're good.
Beautiful weather.
That mean.
Just a touch windy. Maybe the ball's blowing out. But, Coach, we appreciate you. We'll have you on again here soon, and good luck this week.
All right, guys. See you soon.
All right, appreciate you.